Zach has lost his mind.
Welcome to the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's great to be here with all of you today. As always, joined alongside Gavin Tony, who apparently thinks that I've lost my mind. I'm going to need an explanation on that going forward here. A lot going on here in the sports world. 2 NFL games yesterday, both without too much of a surprise what went down for both games. With that being said as well, the NBA Finals Game 4 is tonight. We got playoff baseball on right now, but other than that, I'm going to hand it over to my co-host, Gavin Tony. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, and the voice. Use some honey and tea, Zach. Just a little bit. The reason why I said you lost your mind, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later, Heat are done with? Is that what I heard from you earlier this morning? You think the Heat are done with? I don't think so. Oh, no. I'm having a great day. The Braves game is on over here. I wish the Phillies were in it, man. I wish the Phillies were in it.
Yeah, I wish so. We had a lot of good news yesterday. For those who may or may not be able to tell, I did kind of lose my voice on Sunday yelling at the Eagles. I'm not sure if anyone picked that up yesterday, but it's been progressing. But no, I'm not sick. No sore throat or anything like that. Nothing to worry about. They're just yelled when the Eagles got a pick six, like any other Eagles fan probably would. Some good news on that end. We are going to kick off the show today with that. The Pennsylvania governor has given the go-ahead for the state of Pennsylvania to have 15% capacity in all outdoor stadiums. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be having about 5,500 fans this Sunday against the Eagles-Steelers game. So that's going to be exciting. First game with fans this year for the Eagles to be in. And we're waiting for next Tuesday for the mayor of Philadelphia to make an announcement on the Eagles Stadium. With that, there are 6 home games left here. Gavin, what are some of your thoughts on that and moving forward?
Well, we need to go to a game. Zach, we got to put it off and go to a game, so we could watch this train wreck unfold in front of our eyes. Listen, I don't know. I'm happy to see things are going back to normal, somewhat. But Zach, the only thing that really interests me is indoor. Obviously outdoor, you got fresh air at all times. Indoor, not so much. So you got your Sixers, you got your Flyers, you got the mixed martial arts. So, Zach, I got to wonder, what about indoor games? Because I want to see Doc Rivers next year, but I know it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so right now, postponed until February. That's a back in June, I think they moved that forward, that in February they would decide to have whether or not to have fans in the stadium for indoor games. So I guess they'll be deciding either then or if they're going to push it up. We know, around the country, depending on where you live, what region you're in, some areas are opening, some areas are closing again. Again, Gavin, you know how we continue to read the numbers on here and continue to analyze the whole situation here in the pandemic. But putting that aside, it's nice to see some things starting to open up as long as it can be done safely. And here with 15% capacity, personally, I don't see that big of an issue with it as long as there's social distancing involved and mask wearing. I'm not really going to see big concerns here for this situation.
I'm pretty sure if everybody does it the right way, Zach, you've been to a lot of Phillies games. I've been to a lot of Phillies games. You've been to a lot of Eagles games. I've been to a lot of Eagles games as well. There's so many exits and entrances. If they don't want a lot of people going out at one spot, you could find a way to disperse people. And I feel like at the same time, too, it's up to us as the people. If we want to keep things like this happening, we got to do our part and keeping it open. We don't just open things up and suspect things to go back to normal. And that's where a lot of people have misinformed the fact that when you open something, Zach, things doesn't go back to normal. There's going to be complications. When we go back to school, I just can't go over to Zach and give him a hug, right? Can't do that. We got to be smart and mindful. And when we get these, I'm going to start calling these things privileges because they can be taken away as soon as you get it right back.
Yeah, no doubt. Lots of up and downs from that for sure. So we'll continue to cover that here on the show as we progress with it. But with that being said, Gavin, let's get over now to, as we talk about the Eagles against Steelers, we'll be having fans this Sunday. It's going to be interesting to see that as things return to normal to a certain extent, as Gavin puts us some of these privileges we've been fortunate to have. But Monday Night Football recap, let's start with the New England Patriots and the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a slow start, slow game altogether. The Patriots, in my opinion, blew a lot of opportunities. For those who don't know, Cam Newton, who does have the coronavirus currently, is not playing. Brian Hoyer named the starter. Jarrett Stidham comes in. It was an ugly game altogether. But third and fourth quarter, the Chiefs prevailed. They really put up some points there late. So without a doubt, they continue to look really good 4-0. But the New England Patriots fall to 2-2. Gavin, first question for you is, are you worried about the Patriots, or do you think they'll be fine with Cam coming back? And then second, how good does the Chiefs defense look?
Well, Zach, to answer your first question, it goes to show Cam Newton really is something special to that team. Look how awful Brian Hoyer looked like, and then you put that Jared Stidham. Is that what his name is? Dude's so awful. I don't care to even know his name, but sadly I know it. Zach, Cam Newton is a big piece of the offense, a valuable piece to the offense. I don't know about moving forward. I don't know if he's the plan. Zach, it's a 2 week recovery period, I think, for the NFL for the virus. So you drop this game, and I don't know where they're going next week, but it's gonna show how valuable Cam Newton is. Now, to your second question, Chiefs defense, I'm still not sold on the Chiefs defense. Why? Yes, you shut out Baltimore. You shut out Baltimore in a great game, right? Where you just blow Lamar Jackson's run game away. But you go the week before that where the Chiefs took you to overtime and scored 17 points on you. Do you see where I'm getting at? It's like it's
You have rookie quarterback Justin Herbert for that team. They were able to get out there
exactly
with a problem. Well, I don't know. 17 is not a lot of points. At least now.
17 is not a
If you're like the Cowboys giving up 50, I mean, you got different problems there. But the offense will always be the cornerstone for the Chiefs, just to have a defense as good as they are right now with Tyrann Mathieu. Remember last night they had a guy out, Chris Jones, and I think it was either him or their linebacker that was out. But they have some good, solid foundational pieces there. They still have a lot of work to do. They're certainly not perfect, but they're a good coach defense. And frankly, the gold standard of that team is their offense, which we know looks fantastic for most of the year already.
was like I can't give the defense a lot of credit because you play against a dismantled Texans where I know we're gonna get to pretty soon, and you played against you played against a rookie quarterback, and then your real competition was arguably Baltimore Ravens, who you shut down. But outside of that, there was no other real film on this defense that I really like yet. It's a little too early to call this defense as a league. It's sure as hell better than the Cowboys. They're not giving them 50 points a game, Zach, but I don't know. I think it's a little too early to give a correct, fair analysis on the Chiefs defense because they haven't really faced anybody.
Yeah, no doubt. So now we would get to the original Monday Night Football game again. For those who didn't know, the Chiefs-Patriots game was postponed from Sunday. The Atlanta Falcons and the Green Bay Packers, not a big surprise at all. Julio Jones in the first half got hurt with a hamstring injury, re-aggravated it. Calvin Ridley was their wide receiver one towards the end of the game. They had 3 points in the first half, so it's no excuse for them. The Falcons dumpster fire year three. They've had 3 horrible seasons, and it baffles me why they aren't making changes or any improvements, or at this point, honestly, just to tank and see what they can do and get rid of Matt Ryan and get some value for him. But the Packers look phenomenal, and I know that I've sat here before. I've sat here before, and I've spoken about. No, let me explain. Again, it's never been about Aaron Rodgers. You can go back on the tapes of this show. I've never, in my opinion, said that my concerns are this: the defense. Secondary was good last year. Secondary is good this year. But look at what happened against San Fran. You got run all over. Teams are going to run the ball against you, and they look better this year. Maybe they haven't faced tough competition yet. Maybe they've gotten better. One of the two. We'll find out soon enough. Next thing, the Packers were 11-1 in one possession games last year, and that one loss was to the Eagles, by the way. Now, teams
you were there. You were there, by the way. You were there.
I was there. Teams in the past, for sure, have had significant drop-offs. The Chargers 2 years ago, they had 1 or 2 losses in one possession games. Last year, they were 5-11. So you have to see where I'm coming from here when I say I don't think the Packers are going to be as good this year. They shouldn't have been 13-3 last year, according to some of the analytics that we've worked on. They should have been 9-7, and so a couple of different factors as well. Number one, you don't get another wide receiver. Devontae Adams is fragile, by the way. You don't get him another wide receiver. Adams is a great receiver, but he's not always healthy. Lazard's also out right now. And then you waste your second-round pick on a running back who's gotten maybe 5% of the snaps so far. They had a horrible draft. You have Jordan Love sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. And I guess maybe their theory was they didn't have to get more talent because you let a fire under him, and look what he does. He looks phenomenal this year. He doesn't look any worse or any better than the years. He looks better than the years past, but he doesn't look any worse. He never has been a bad quarterback. He's had injuries. And he's a phenomenal player. He's doing a great job right now. He's showing that he necessarily doesn't need that much wide receiver help. But, Gavin, you got to give a lot of credit to Matt LaFleur. And I know they like to say, well, you know what? He likes to ignore Matt LaFleur sometimes, yada, yada, yada. Look at the plays last night. 3 running backs at some points, quick throws, letting your playmakers do their jobs. You have a lot of talent on that team, but most importantly, you have great drawn-up schematics. You have great plays on that team. But, yes, Aaron Rodgers right now, in my opinion, him and Russell Wilson, neck and neck for MVP. Josh Allen right behind them. And as far as it's concerned for the offense, it's just been a firepower, even without Devontae Adams. And that credit goes to the coach. It also goes to Aaron Rodgers. So I'm impressed with this Green Bay Packers team. If their defense continues to show up, they're fine. But I'm still worried about that as you get later in the year and you face some tougher competition. However, they did have no problem taking down the Saints. So I honestly don't know where I stand on that. But they've looked – Aaron Rodgers specifically has looked great so far. And Matt Patricia, great coaching. I'm sorry, Matt LaFleur, not Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia, horrible coach. Matt LaFleur, the Green Bay Packers, great job so far from the offensive side.
Well, Zach, just let me put it out there. Matt Patricia, on the other hand, you did pick them to win the division this year, so I'm just going to let the world know that that you picked them to win the division this year. I also want to put out there that you did say 7-9, which is like you're right in the analytics class we have done. The Packers shouldn't have really been 13-3 last year. They should have been 9-7 all their one possession games. But guess what? Aaron Rodgers is that damn good that it didn't matter what it was. They came out and they won still. Defense has a brand point. You're right, Zach. They should have got my man some help. But guess what? They didn't. And for those that keep thinking that Matt LaFleur and him really don't get along, I honestly disagree. I really do believe maybe the first year was a little bit rocky, but that's how it always is, Zach. You know, you work with somebody new for the first time in a long, and after being with somebody for a long time, not everything's going to be cupcakes and rainbows. You're going to have to develop a relationship. I really do believe that Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are together on this one. Now, to go with your MVP statement, that might be a tad blasphemous. Not a lot, because I can see it. I can see it, Zach. But I can't get away from Russell Wilson and what he's done so far. The man is on a mission, and I'm going to come out and say it. When it comes to the MVP rankings right now, I think Russell Wilson sits 1. Aaron Rodgers is a close second. Josh Allen's 3rd. And then the list goes in there. You can say Pat Mahomes if you want to. But arguably, after last night's game from Pat Mahomes, I think that kind of took a hit. And last week for Lamar Jackson, that kind of took a hit as well. But to say that it's neck and neck between Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, it really is. But I think Russell Wilson's on a man on a mission and on another level. It's like he never received not one MVP vote. Not one. And he's been in the conversation every year. I think this is the year he gets it.
We'll see what happens. I mean, we could sit here and argue as far as who's got more weapons, who's got better pieces around them. Both of them, honestly, right now are offensive lines are not the best for either team. Both teams are building defenses. I think that you can argue that Russell Wilson surely has a lot more weapons right now than Aaron Rodgers, but both are playing spectacular. You're right, Gavin. So coming up after this, an MVP caliber quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Is he happier or sad today after his head coach and general manager Bill O'Brien has been terminated just a few months after making a blockbuster trade that had everybody scratching their heads?
We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode.
And welcome back here on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. Gavin, we talked about this a while ago. I don't know why they gave him the general management position. He's destroyed that team. And there's not a lot of positives here to look at, in my opinion. You have a young, bright quarterback in Deshaun Watson who's looked average this year. You have an O-line who has looked for the 3rd, 4th year in a row below average. You have a defense who has statistically gotten worse over the past 3 years. And the one thing that you had going for you, you trade away for a bucket of gravy. No offense to David Johnson, but that's honestly what you got. You got nothing. Trading one of the best wide receivers in the game. Look at him. I know he's injured right now, but look at him with Kyler Murray out in Arizona. So, Gavin, I'll ask you this, not only from the play calling side, not only from the coaching side, from the front office side, he's been atrocious. What are your thoughts here on Bill O'Brien being fired by the Houston Texans?
Well, first of all, you should let him go when David Clowney walked out the door and you got nothing but in return. You should have let him go after that. Then the fact that you gave him the keys to get rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Zach, you said a bucket of gravy. I say a pile of garbage. No offense to David Johnson, but that's what you've been for the past 2 to 3 years because you're always hurt. David Johnson was number 1 in the fantasy leading board. Zach, you remember that? Back in 2015, 2014, people were drafting him number 1. Is he even in our league? Is he even on the team? I don't think so. And ladies and gentlemen, here's where I get pissed off, right? Stephen A. Smith said it best this morning. You don't get rid of DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson. You know why is that? Because they were boys. And their dynamic duo, right, went deeper than just from Houston. It went back to Clemson. It doesn't get no better than that. This guy, DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson were working together back in Clemson. They were working together there. DeAndre Hopkins gets drafted first, and then Deshaun Watson comes back. You couldn't ask anything better than that. You really couldn't. You see how much of an impact DeAndre Hopkins has on Deshaun Watson. Just look at this year. No wide receiver can help this man. And you want to talk about offensive line, right? Zach, non-existent. Non-existent. I can get through that offensive line. All right, I can hold this drink and my phone and get through this offensive line and still sack Deshaun Watson. Now, when it comes to the general manager side or Bill O'Brien as a coach, I just touched on general. When it comes to Bill O'Brien as a coach, you could say, but yeah, he wanted the AFC South and he went to a couple playoffs, but yeah, he never made it nowhere. Zach, there's another name. You want to put this up here as well. There's another name. You remember AJ Boye? I think AJ Boye came from there, right? Exactly. That's another name left or that he lost. You lose Jadeveon Clowney. You lose AJ Boye. All right. And then you lose your best offensive weapon.
You don't lose him. You give him away.
You gave away. By the way, Howard Roseman, you could have got him. Just saying. You could have got Stephon Diggs both on the same day. Justin Jefferson was at 100 yards. By the way, I got to put that up there as well.
CD's having a good year, but continue.
Exactly. But Zach, all in all, this guy never, ever deserved to be part of the front office and to call the shots. He hasn't called anything good.
They blew a 24-0 lead against the Chiefs.
I feel bad for Deshaun Watson. I really do. And I'm not saying that in any sense. I actually really do feel bad for Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't have signed that deal, especially after this year.
Yeah, I don't know why he signed it, especially considering that they'd gotten rid of Hopkins before that. He knew this going into it, but it's interesting. We'll continue to follow it. The Texans are 0-4. I don't see their season getting turned around real quick.
They need help. They need help badly, and I'm going to hit the panic button for Deshaun Watson because I like Deshaun Watson, but you need help. You need it badly.
Yeah, we'll see as we continue here. But coming up after this, Gavin's excited for the finals preview. Game 4 tonight. Jimmy Butler possibly could join rare company with Dwayne Wade, the only other Miami Heat to average 30 points in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler currently sits at about 29. He scored 40 in his triple-double. Coming up after this, we're going to talk about that and predict our picks for tonight's game.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
All right, we know how it went. Miami Heat lose the first 2 games. The first one, they were completely out of it. The second one was competitive. Game 3 looked pretty good for them. Gavin, I got to ask you, man, this is about how the Lakers are going to respond. In my opinion, the Miami Heat hold the cards kind of right now. I mean, any team that wins the game before, assuming it's not a blowout, holds the cards. So I got to ask you, what are your thoughts on tonight's game?
My thoughts on tonight's game is just simple. Jimmy Butler has to repeat or he needs help. You got to do it again. You got to get Anthony Davis in foul trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I said Zach has lost his mind. He said that LeBron James is, 25, 10, or 11 and 8, right? Last game didn't mean nothing? Well, clearly it didn't, because here's why. You see how big of a piece Anthony Davis means to this team? Zach, LeBron James couldn't do it without Anthony Davis. All right? He needs Anthony Davis to win this. That's like
fine.
All of you LeBron fans. But listen.
But what? There's nothing wrong with that. What are you trying to prove?
What I'm trying to prove is
Anthony Davis, last time I checked, he's not hurt. He's back. He's playing.
But what I'm trying to prove is this.
What?
What I'm trying to prove is this. When people come on and say LeBron has won us this game, did he really? Can we look at Anthony Davis' stats? Clearly,
He scored at some point.
he is the vocal point of this team. Not vocally, obviously, and LeBron James does more of the talking. By the way, LeBron, that was a really crappy move of you to walk off the court. Not a big fan of that. Show sportsmanship. You don't got to shake the hands, but just wait, all right? Don't be like the Pistons. All right, don't do that. Second, I'm serious, Zach. In my honest opinion, I'm going to ask you about that. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's my honest opinion. That's really not a good look on your legacy. That really isn't a good look on your legacy. I know you just lost, but you don't got to. That was 10 seconds. It wasn't 3 seconds. It was 3 seconds. I wouldn't care, but it was 10. It's like, how would you feel? My team beat you and you walked off 10 seconds before the game was over. Come on now. But before I hand it to you, going into tonight's key game, or tonight's key is obviously if Bam Adebayo plays tonight, that's going to be a different story. But I think the Heat really had the upper hand in this game because you can get foul calls versus Anthony Davis easily. You gotta get him in foul trouble. That's how much of a big piece he is to the offense and to you guys. Like look, the Lakers aren't gonna outshoot you, Zach. We keep saying this. You just gotta just score. Jimmy Butler got to the free throw line a lot of times. You can't be the passer. You gotta be the aggressor. But Zach, my question for you is one, tonight's keys, and two, how does walking up the court look for LeBron James?
I'll answer that first one. It's not a good look. It really isn't. It as far as the legacy, as far as the perspective, as far as the outside looking in, it's not a good look at all. As far as if I can look at it from his perspective, he was ticked off and he's going to come back stronger than ever tonight. He is in a mode right now where he wants to cut the crap. He wants to be done with we know that he has a big burden on him, given what's going on in the outside of the environment. And I'm sure that as many people in this country, in any time you face adversity, that it's going to take a big mental toll, which at some point can translate to a physical toll. And it's not that he doesn't care anymore or that he's going to give up on fighting the issues off the court. But right now his focus is on the court. And again, that's nothing not to get into any of those topics where it's like, oh, he doesn't care anymore. No. But right now his focus is on the court. And he's done a lot. You got to thank him. You got to appreciate what he's done off the court, Gavin. You speak very highly of him off the court.
I do.
And rightfully so. And so I think right now he is about on the court. For the next few days at least, he'll go back to helping out advanced society, especially in Black communities. He'll go back to working with the I Promise School. He'll go back to talking and keeping the conversation going. But I think right now, walking off that court, he emphasized, I'm done with and again, it's bad sportsmanship, but he's done with it. He's done with everything going on right now. And he's saying, I have to focus on these games. I have to win these next two so that I can return to my platform and return to doing what I do best off the court. And I think that it was and it's weird this year because we're in the bubble. Everything's emphasized, everything that's going on. And so I think that what I look at is that was a symbolic representation of LeBron the person morphing into LeBron the player indefinitely until this series is over. I expect LeBron to come out hungry tonight. I expect him to come out as a leader. I hope he apologized to his teammates. I mean, that was a horrible look, and it's disrespectful. You know what? You win as a team, you lose as a team. The captain goes down with the ship, and I think it's disrespectful. But I think it was a symbolic representation. I hope he apologized to his guys and talked to them. Apparently, I forget who it was that mentioned. I think Rondo mentioned that.
Rondo, yes.
LeBron was diminishing their confidence by looking at them with missed shots. I think you're going to see an inflection point, and I think it's going to reflect in how the Lakers play tonight. And I think the Heat are going to put up a great fight. I think Jimmy Butler is going to experience a lot of double teams. We're going to see how tough he is. I think he is a tough guy, so I'm curious to see how it's going to rebound. But ultimately, I think that the Lakers prevail tonight.
Well, Zach, I want to just go off. Rondo said, and it was last year, he said, he talked to LeBron, he said, your body language is really diminishing to the younger guys. Like guys like Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram, and so on and so forth. When they miss a shot, don't look upset. Don't look pissed off. That was also another problem in Cleveland. You saw visually upset how he gets. And when you're working with a young team, you can't do that. Especially when a young team as young as the Lakers were last year. They got a little bit older this year. So they got some older pieces now. You know that. But you can't show your emotion. Yes, LeBron wears his heart on his sleeve. No doubt about that. But that was kind of diminishing to the young guys. And when it comes to LeBron, I'm going to come out here and say it again because I feel like that message gets lost when it comes about me to LeBron James. Outside of basketball, I'm all for LeBron James. I'm probably the biggest LeBron James supporter when it comes off the court. Zach, you know that. whenever LeBron James, when there's something going on, I look at LeBron James's words almost as a leader, because that's what we view LeBron as a leader. We're in a tough time right now where kinds of LeBron James and all these other high power athletes that happen to be black, we're looking at them. We are really looking at them. It's just not fair for them. It really isn't. It's not fair for LeBron, not fair for Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, all these guys, Donovan Mitchell in the boat. Like, it's not fair for all these guys. Jaylen Brown. Are they you're right, Zach. They are here to play basketball, but that's why I think walking off the court last night or any other night was a bad look, because Zach, all eyes are on you. Right?
The pressure's on tonight. The pressure's on.
The pressure's on you. I'm just talking about from walking off the court. I wouldn't have made a big deal about it. I mean, obviously I'm going to do it because LeBron James is a basketball fan. I am not there, but I wouldn't have made a big deal about it. I would have brought it up on here, but I wouldn't have made a big deal about it if what's been going on outside the world wasn't happening. But the thing is you got a lot of young black African Americans, me included, that look at him, that idolize him as this type of leader. I'm not going to say he's like a hero or like a big activist, because obviously in history there's way bigger ones in history. But in a time like this right now, where a guy like me who looks at LeBron James, and when he comes out and says this is unfair treatment, or when he emphasizes the right to vote, I look at him and I'm like, LeBron's trying to lead. That's where I look at LeBron James. Now, when it comes to the basketball court, me, Michael Jordan, come on now, 6-0. I'll get into an argument with you today. I know your voice can't handle another screaming match with me today, so I'm gonna let you go by that. But Zach, that's why I think it was a bad look for him to walk over the court. Poor sportsmanship, as his comment says. But you're right. LeBron's gonna come with the rage of hell, and excuse my language, but it's true. He's gonna come with the rage of hell. Jimmy Butler gave it to him. That's why I think tonight is not gonna be about Jimmy Butler, as others would think it's going to be about. It's going to be about the supporting cast. It might be a Tyler Hero night. It might be a Duncan Robinson night. It might be all these guys combined. You just got to beat them somehow, some way. I think, Zach, if the Lakers win tonight, the series is over. If the Heat win, I think Heat win in 7.
All eyes are on LeBron James. It's that simple. If he plays well, they will win. And even if AD gets in foul trouble again, which Eric Spoelstra might play to have that happen, and it's not too hard to happen in the modern day NBA, as Kevin and I both talk about how soft the NBA is. But LeBron James will need to put his team on.
Can't touch nobody.
I expect to see a 40-point night from him, honestly, especially if AD gets in foul trouble. And we'll see what happens. Honestly, the winning team will have a player score 40 points. That's my bold take of the day. But with that being said, I'm taking the Lakers tonight. Gavin, are you taking the Heat officially?
I'm going to take the Miami Heat tonight. I hope Bam Adebayo proves me wrong and comes back. I don't know what the word is. It's questionable right now. But excuse me, but Zach, before we go, did you see baseball last night? Did you see the Rays and Yankees?
Blake Snell, not having. I commented. I don't know if you saw it on ESPN. I guess Blake Snell wanted his money for nothing, or maybe it was the Yankees Instagram post. I put that on with all the home runs.
All this money,
360 coming around with baseball. Starting with Blake Snell and with him.
Tomorrow we're going to get into that a little bit more, but Gary. Best stuff, but when he needed the most, 100 miles per hour fastball, and he got the strikeout. And the Bronx Bombers, Zach, I got to ask you before we go. New York's offense, Yankees offense, Dodgers offense, Atlanta's offense, or Padres, who you taking? If you had a day, if you had to win yourself a game and put runs, what offense are you taking?
They're all different. The Padres are young, so I'm going to put them out right away. Again, they're respecting them, but they're a young team. The Dodgers are a strong suit, and they're the most balanced. The Yankees are healthy and mature. And who was that last team? Oh, Atlanta. Atlanta's scrappy. They're a scrappy team. And I like scrappy teams for a game, but if I had to trust a team, I'm between the Yankees and the Dodgers. And just the offense alone, I'm going to have to go with the Yankees. I think that they're just too strong. They got the right balance of contact hitters and power hitters, and it's going to be fun to see who goes to the World Series and see how much offense we get to see.
I hope it's the Yankees and Dodgers World Series, because great pitching and great offense. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a fair balance. When the Bronx Bombers are healthy, scary, and the Dodgers have been here all year long. Zach, I might have to roll with the Dodgers just because the fair balance between contact and power. And oh yeah, they got Mookie Betts.
The
No,
Rays win the division. They take it from the Yankees, and the Yankees humble them real quick. So that's a fun storyline to wrap up today's show. Hopefully, the voice returns a little bit more tomorrow, so we can go into more
hot tea
detail.
and honey, Zach.
I'll be, and yeah, I got to keep doing that. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining us here on the show today, and have a good one.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post excerpts of